Hello traders, John at StockBookie.com. Today we're looking at the SPY, the IWM, the Qs, the DIA, the IYT, the USO, the UUP, and the GLD. We follow the daily, weekly, monthly timeframes. We use technical analysis here at StockBookie.com. Let's get right to the daily spider. And what a day it was, guys. 50 million on the day with 10 million after hours, so about 60 million, 61. We are a little bit down after hours, but it did go up $1.21 or 0.51%. So not a bad showing today on the light volume. It did gap it above the 20 MA on the daily, and so far looks like we're going to go to gap fill possibly. If we had gap fill or double top tomorrow in one straight shot, I will be putting a short trade out there for maybe a day or two, and we'll see how it pulls back. But this will be a good area for a possible pullback. But since there is a lot of resistance up here, I wouldn't doubt if they try to gap it up over it and keep this thing going to the all-time high. So again, if you're bullish, you need to get back above 240.67 and maybe go for the 245 area, 250 area. Again, one step at a time. We'll have to see what the market gives us in the next couple days going into the Memorial Day weekend. This tells me we'll possibly just float up on light volume, but again, we could be moving on news. Trump's out in the Middle East. Stuff is still stirring up in Washington, so keep an eye on that stuff because that is what's going to drive these markets up and down at this point. All right, so light volume again, back above the 20, 50, and the 200. Good stance. Nothing wrong with these markets, guys. You know, when we got, I mean, we were saying the same thing here, and then boom, down, but 3 days right back up to pretty much where we were. Gosh, hats off to these guys for doing this. But remember, light volume markets, this is the stuff that can possibly happen. The IWM could not make it above the 50 or the 20 today. It closed right on top of it. Nice drop, nice pull retrace here. Let's see if we could close above the 50 tomorrow or the next day. But they did get it back above this trend line, which in my opinion was pretty big here. So again, they saved the markets coming off this bearish pattern here we talked about for about a week and a half, 2 weeks. Came in, right back up, saved the day. Light volume once again, guys. So just keep an eye on that. 0.68% on the day, so not bad showing for the IWM, but this was almost like we got to get this thing back above. I'm surprised it didn't get back above the 50 MA, but hey, we'll take what they give us, and we'll see what tomorrow brings with the IWM. The Qs, on the other hand, another nice day, 0.84%. Everything was rallying. The Googles, the Amazons, Netflix was a little bit weak, Facebook was a little weak, Apple was up. The one thing that, not that it matters with the Qs, but JPM was negative, so that was one thing that I was keeping an eye on. So, all right, but we're back above the inside bar here. It closed. We do have a gap fill in the all-time high, so if this thing pushes up to the one, I'm going to go with 140 Pierce of. I could give this thing a short on an intraday basis and try to make some quick cash. So keep an eye on that area. So bullish, you need to get back above. I'm going to say the 140 area, then possibly 145 or so. If you're bull or if you're bearish, you need to have this thing come right back in, go right below the 20 MA, low pivot, and then I think we're going to go down, fill some gaps down in this area. Again, though, back above the MAs, nothing wrong. Let's see what we can do when we go until tomorrow and the rest of the week. If the light volume prevails, we could probably just go sideways. Just keep an eye on it. We'll probably stay above the MAs going into Friday. 3-day weekend, they need people to go out and buy stuff and the consumer spending and keep everyone happy, guys. And that's what they're doing here. The DIA, on the other hand, got right back above the 50 MA, still below the 20. But remember, we talked about this good bullish pattern above the MAs. Kind of failed, but they're trying to get it right back up into this section again to pretend like this never happened. So keep an eye on the DIA. Let's see if we get back below the 50. But right now, we're just going to be chopping around up and down, unless we get back above the 20 and this trend line and fill the gap, and then we'll see how it goes. If it does move up to 1159, double top will be your area. If it cracks through there, then you're looking at the 215, 220, and 223.24 area. But still got to get above here. And once it does that, if it does, then we'll reevaluate the chart and see where this thing could possibly go. Bearish, it's got to get back below the 50 MA, test these lows. If we get to this pivot down here around 203, then I think we're heading down here at 195, and then we'll have to reevaluate as the time goes by. But right now, guys, nothing wrong. Back above the 50, have to respect it. Wait for news, guys. That's what's driving these markets. One week it's a Trump trade. Next week it's, oh my gosh, it's not Trump. This thing's a disaster. And then announce the Trump trade again, you know, with the news over the weekend with Saudi Arabia. So just kind of follow the charts, guys. These markets are a little bit crazy here. no puts, small share size and positions. And even if you go long, just be careful. You know, you woke up here and this thing was just cratering here. A lot of stocks fell. A lot of people got out, and then next thing you know, they're chasing them up again, you know, because buy the dip mentality is in there. You know, every time it dips, you got to buy it. So till one day it dips and then keeps going. So just be careful in these markets, guys, especially light volume. The IYT could not get it back above this trend line. This was a nice sell candle here, guys. Straight back up, cannot close above this too. That's a bearish signal with a 3-bar surge. So let's keep an eye on this one. Goal for Grandma, got to get it above this. And oh, if she could get it back above the MAs and fill this gap, oh my gosh, that would be epic for the bulls. Not that it's going to continue up, but that's the first step of the process of getting back above all this stuff before it can continue up. Or honestly, they gap it up and keep it going. They can do that as well. So right now we're outside this little range of going up and down. Let's see if we can get back into this. Maybe come and test this one. Then maybe another pullback. So keep an eye on the IYT, guys. If you are short, like we are, just hold on tight. Let's see what we can get out of this thing. And I think we're going down to at least 150 if you ask me. But on the bullish side, you got to get above the MAs. Got to get above the trend line. This pivot now, with these pivots too as well. If you get above the 167 area, then you're going to go to 170, fill this gap, and then possibly double top up here. If we go up there, this will mean this one's kind of leading the way, because right now it's a little bit lagging, which is not good for the markets. So this thing's got to giddy up, pretty much like it did back here, guys. We were talking about this pattern too. Things got to go, it's got to go, got to go. And then finally, there it goes. So that was the Trump trade, though. I still believe everything's coming back down to where Trump got in here at the presidency. That's my opinion. If it happens, I don't know. But it's kind of looking that way, guys. See how we're going up, a little bit strong, kind of goes up here, comes back, tries to make another run, comes back, falls down. Little bearish pattern here. I still think we're coming down in here somewhere, 150. There is a nice gap here at 151.05, so watch out for that. Let's go. Let's open this one more time. Yeah, again, we're still back below the trend line. Still above the 200, so not bad, but we're above these MAs. So let's see if we can gap this thing up over it, or does it just run into a brick wall here and come right back in? They would like to get it above the trend line here to make everybody kind of breathe a sigh of relief. But again, just keep an eye on this thing. If they can't get above this trend line, it gets rejected and comes right back in, and then lower prices are to come. Again, though, light volume on the markets or the IYT, so keep an eye on that. The USO, guys, what a run. I mean, OPEC comes out, all this lip service, everything goes straight up into the 618, which is right at 1057. This thing's, it needed to consolidate more, guys, before it went up higher. Doesn't mean it can't go up higher, because right now they're hyping it up with the news. But if it does, we're looking into this area here, and then up into this area here, 1160, 1180, somewhere up in there. Maybe pull the trigger. But we'll have to see what tomorrow brings with the markets and everything else before we make a decision on that. All right, let's go to the UUP. Yeah, I want to get to, wait, hold on, let's go to the USO one more time. Yeah, I want to short this thing. If it gets up in here, 12 bucks would be sweet, but let's try to wait patient for this one, guys. I want to get in the SCO. Get in the SCO trade. Every time I did this one, you know, we start entering here, and it goes a little bit further. So good support down in here. I would love to get right back, because we got in around 33.70 last time, right in there, average price. Gosh, if we could get back down to this area, I'll start reloading, and we'll hopefully get another push up. But again, nice push down. Let's see what happens when it comes down in this area, if it does, and then we'll take a possible trade on the SCO off the USO. Let's go to the UUP. UUP down a couple cents today, nothing crazy. We've been following this though. Remember, down, sideways, a little bit bearish, pops up, gets 3 days sideways, and comes right back in, guys. We hit this area with the gap fill right here, but today they gapped it below it, which was pretty crazy here. We do have a little tiny bottoming tail, but I would have loved to have seen us get back above the trend line here. But it never did. Little tail though, so we got to keep an eye on that. It did almost come down. Oh, it did. 25 bucks. We talked about that area for a couple weeks now. And there it is right there. So I still think, gosh, if we could get down here to this gap fill around 24.33, I don't know if we will. We'll have to see what happens with the markets and stuff. But if this starts coming down in here, I'm going to start nibbling on this one. And then honestly, the $24 even number would be the last place I'd like to add. I won't go crazy with the trades. I haven't in anything, But just make sure, no more than 10% of your total position in any trade that you have. We've been inching in with a quarter, or we go a half, and then a quarter, something like that. A little bit different strategies for different stocks, depending if they're high flying or going into good resistance or supports levels for the trade. Let me pull this one up. That one does not need to be in there anymore. So yeah, so that's so far so good. I wish I would have shorted this thing up here. But right now, good support. Let's see if this holds or does it come down basically into the next level around 24.30. So keep an eye on that. The GLD though, guys, 50 cents up on the day. This thing keeps chugging along. We're back above the MAs here, holding strong. We did get above the upsloping trend line that we broke under. I thought for sure we'd come back in, but this trend line here saved the day for the most part, and the 750 retrace. So we bounced right back up. Chop, 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 chop. This was a good trade here, guys. So now we're at 119.76. We did take the trade back here. Oops. Sorry about that, guys. My charts went all crazy. But anyways, gold, still above the 20, the 50, and the 200 MA, so nothing wrong with this thing. So let's see if we can get back above here. Gosh, I think this thing's ready to take off again. We did pull back to this nice trend line here. Never went any lower. Boom, gapped up. Remember, we talk about gapping up over resistance, and this is exactly what this thing did. Gapped it up, came back in, pulled it up. Now we're back above this trend line here. And let's see if we can keep consolidating, chopping. See if the 20 can come back around. Looks like the 50 is starting to curl up too. So again, 50 cents on the day and 28 cents after hours. So let's see if this thing can continue up. We still have a half position in the GLD. Let's see if we can get back up to the 125 to 130 area. Again, one day at a time, guys. We did sell half up here, pulled back. We were going to load up again a little bit on that half, or even a quarter of what we took on the half, but just never did. I don't want to get cute on this thing just in case if we did come back a little bit more. So far, so good. We are back above the MA, so it looks like we have good support holding this. So if you're long gold, just stick with it, and let's see if we go up a little bit more. Jnug. Jnug up 74 cents today. We talked about this. Comes in. If you bought down in here, you probably take some profits up here. Gap fill, so some people did. Came right back in. Today was a pretty nice update. Consolidation above the 20 MA. Good sign for the bulls, so keep an eye on that. Go to the GDXJ. Same thing, same pattern. As long as it stays above the 20 MA in this trend line here, you're okay. This choppy, sloppy action is not the worst, not the best, but we'll take it. As long as it consolidates sideways, this is possibly setting up for the next up wave. So if we do, looking to recapture the 50 MA, fill the gap. And I think we go up here to the 200 MA in these pivot tops here. If you're more of the bear on the GDXJ, you want this thing to fail, come right back below the 20 MA here and keep going. You got gap fill, double bottom, and then you'll take it from there. This is the GDXJ. So you got 24.77. You have some pivots back in here. But ultimately, you have something right around 25 bucks isn't bad if the GDXJ comes down that way. But you still have 27.44. And right now, you're still in a bullish stance. So you got to watch every aspect of these trades, but right now it's doing okay. One thing that kind of catches my attention, though, you are making higher lows here. So I'd love to see it come and pop up through there, guys. So, but stick with the Jnug, the GDXJ, still okay. A little bit of a bullish setup here. Still slightly bearish, though, down and sideways in kind of a channel. Let's see if we can get above the 50 and keep this boat rolling. So, all right, guys, if you're not a member, go to sign up at StockBookie.com for more videos like these. If you like this, every time we do it, we post it on our StockBookie.com site, and we'll send you a video link on an email. So sign up, give me your email address, and let's do some trading together. So, all right, but I think that's going to be it for today. Other than that, it was a pretty non-eventful, low-volume grind, and which we're used to. All right, that was yelling, guys. So sign up at StockBookie.com, more videos like this and all that good stuff. All right, guys, thanks again for watching. God bless. See you on the charts.